Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, my wife and I are going to go over our 1 week ownership with the 2024 Lexus GX550. This is a press vehicle, so we only have it for 7 days, but it's been such a blast of an SUV to drive. We've done a lot with this. It has become our #1 replacement for the BMW X5. So it's that good of an SUV. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would agree. When the time comes to get rid of the X5, I could be interested in this car. It's pretty cool.
I think we'll make it happen. So let's do a quick comparison. These are not direct competitors, but just to go over a few things, because we have a more luxury focused brand being BMW, but the Lexus for the same price. This is a 2022. We bought it with just under 30,000 miles. For the same price, we could get a 2024 GX550 with pretty much 0 miles on it. Now we have a 3-row SUV versus the 2-row here, but we have a towing capacity of 6,200 versus 8,000. I am definitely very interested in the towing capabilities for this, as you will see once we talk about that. But there's also some modding potentials to do to the GX as well, as far as lifting it, tires. There's a huge overlanding community, which I know you're not as interested in, but it's also going to give you that same luxury vibe and feel, I guess, as the X5. So
with some longevity.
With some longevity, yes. This is not a hybrid. We have the hybrid for the X5, which we're not a huge fan of. If we had to do it again, we would just buy a gas version X5.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think the hybrid it's cool to try out, and maybe once they're more refined, they'd be more interesting. But it doesn't really give us a ton more gas mileage. And it's honestly
we have to charge it all the time.
Yeah, it's more of a hassle. You have to charge it, and in the summer it gets really overheated, so you can't really charge it like you want to, especially in the day in a garage, because the fan just comes on and it sounds like it's gonna explode, which is not fun to listen to while you're sitting in your living room and you can hear it in the garage. You
have to wait until like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, keep the garage open, let it cool down, because it just makes the fans work that much harder for that hybrid system. But in general, a comparison with both of these, they're pretty similar as far as what they have to offer.
Yeah and no. I will get into that a little bit more. We'll get into that a little bit more when we take our test drive. They're similar in the fact that they're both luxury SUVs. I like them both, but there are some differences that I'd like to highlight a little bit later.
All right, so as we get out on the road now with the GX550, let's go into more details about just the adventures that we've done with this vehicle and what it's like going through a full tank of gas. So we've put, I'm estimating, about 350 miles or so on this in the 7 days that we've had it. Our first adventure, we went to the mountains with it, so perfect environment for an SUV like this. We didn't have to worry about really anything on the gravel roads that we were on and things like that. And the 2-hour drive was very, very nice. How would you compare this to your X5? And we're gonna use that a lot, obviously, since we own it, and that's kind of our benchmark for what a luxury vehicle should drive like. So now we're in a Lexus, which is still a luxury brand, but what do you think some of the comparisons or similarities, differences would be?
So I want to start off by saying that I agree with you. This car was great to have in the mountains. We also carried a wedding cake up the mountain, which is terrifying if you've ever done that, because you don't want anything to happen to that cake for the bride and groom. And the car was great. It was smooth. It took the curves really well. I didn't get car sick. Compared to my car, the X5, I would say this car was a little more comfortable. Like the seat themselves were a little more comfortable. So a little bit bigger. So there's more space. The caveat to that is if you have the 3rd row up, you don't have as much trunk space, but if it's down, it's definitely a little bit bigger car. So that's nice. I would say, other than the fact that it was a little more comfortable seat-wise and a little bit bigger in general, I would kind of equate them the same. The couple of differences, this car doesn't have the massaging seats like my car does. It's also missing the adaptive suspension, but even with that difference, I don't feel a huge difference either. Like the adaptive is cool in your car, but it's another thing that once it goes out, you know, I'm not looking to replace that. And this, we can do a lift and like just go a different route, you know? I would slightly disagree. I do feel like I felt a few more bumps along the way. It
feels like a little bit more solid than the X5.
Yeah, a little more solid. You can feel the bumps on uneven or bumpy roads a little bit more.
I could see that.
Nothing really too extensive other than the fact that I was a little nervous about the cake. But I mean, I think they're pretty comparable. My car is a little more flashy, I think, with the interior, and what it looks like, what you have to play with.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this car is still just luxury to me as well.
I like how simple Lexus is. It's the same with Toyota as well. So it gives you a blend of having the luxury like the BMW, but simplicity too. If you're not looking for, you know, all those different settings, the volume, you can do this, you know, doing the thing, like stuff like that, that is kind of a gimmick, but also it can be a little annoying if you're talking and you move your hand, it changes the song, you know, minor little things like that.
He's not speaking from experience or anything.
Yeah. So that was our first adventure with it. Great road tripping vehicle. Aside from MPG, we burned through a lot of gas in 3 days of driving. You're getting your miles per gallon with this GX. And
especially going up a mountain. I mean, it hauls and it does well, but I do feel like you can also feel it going up the mountain, whereas my car is definitely a little more...
it's a little more sporty.
Yeah, the sporty is a little more... It's a smoother ride all around. It really just depends on what you're looking for.
Yeah. So after that adventure, we actually have used this to tow. That's where we are heading right now. So I'll throw in this clip just showing something hooked up to the back. 8,000 pounds is very healthy for this. You really can't feel... Right around 6,000 pounds is what we had on the back of this. And for the short distance we did with that. So I have no complaints with towing. It does very well for the basic suspension that it has as well.
I would agree with that. And for the record, I have also towed with it 6,000 pounds.
Yeah.
And you can't really feel it. I've towed with both this car and my car. They feel about the same. They're both fantastic when it comes to towing the weight that they can tow. You don't feel it with the... Is this all-wheel drive?
Yes. Yep. Full-time all-wheel drive.
Highly recommend that because I have also driven two-wheel drive. What's it called? The trucks.
Rear-wheel drive? Rear-wheel drive trucks, yeah.
I've also driven rear-wheel drive trucks, and they don't do as well. So all-wheel drive, definitely recommend that. For
gives
towing,
you a little more grip.
Gives you more grip, a little more comfort. But yeah, this was a fantastic towing vehicle.
Aside from that, it's mainly just been a daily driver. I was super excited when we got this as a press vehicle because when the GX came out, I'm not a huge fan of... I like Lexus, but like not enough to buy one. But the GX has significantly changed my mind. So I've been driving this to the gym, going grocery shopping, things like that, just to get familiar with it. What are some things that you may not like about this car? The only thing I can find is the auto hold. Every time you start up the vehicle, you have to push on that if you want to use it. In your X5, it defaults to whatever you left it on last. Yeah. So a very minor issue with this. So like now, I've got to push it on. If we start it, or if we shut it off, it'll be off again. I think that's the only thing that I don't like about it.
There's no sunglass holder.
There's no sunglass holder, yeah.
So that's a gripe I have with all manufacturers who leave those out. But that's besides the point. So I think this vehicle, there's not a lot I don't like. Comparing it to my car, I do think, you know, my car is my dream car, if you guys saw that video. So it's going to be hard to get rid of it. It's more me. It's more sleek, sporty, a little more feminine in my opinion. This is definitely a little boxier, a little more aggressive. I don't dislike it. I like them both, but I do prefer my car in general. However, what I really like about this car is the longevity. It's going to last you. Lexus is a great brand, and I am I was raised in the belief of owning a car for 10 plus years, paying it off, getting your worth out of it. So when the time comes for us to do that versus buying and trying cars, which is what, you know, my husband does for a living, this would be something that I would want. As for the hybrid BMW, you don't really, like, I wouldn't feel comfortable keeping a hybrid longer than its warranty just because they're still new. There's a lot of things wrong with it, and they're expensive. So
I can't work on the hybrids as easily as a non-hybrid.
Yeah, so I love the longevity. There's that aspect. Yeah. I love the longevity of this. Like I said, dislikes, it's hard for me to come by. What I think is cool about this one is it's very different than my car in regards to driving. You know, it's a little more boxy, a little more, I don't want to say the aggressive, isn't the right word.
A little more angular.
Yeah.
Versus like the sleeker X5 design.
It feels like it's very sturdy, which I really like.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say anything that I dislike about it. I really, at this point in time, love the ventilated seats.
I guess the only other thing that I don't like about it, as we see a purple X5, what do you think of purple? I like purple.
No.
Purple looks so good. Okay, I guess the only other gripe I would have is that the third row is automatic. I wish they were manual because they take so long and you have to hold the button. I was just in the Ford Explorer ST and you just tap the button once and they go down and back up.
Yeah.
Versus having to hold it the whole entire time. So that's one gripe, and then the storage with the third row up. But we're not buying it for a 3-row. It's just if and when we need an extra, what, 5th seat, 6th seat, something like that.
Yeah.
They'd be there, but...
I also really love the window in the back that you can just pop that open.
Yes, more SUVs should have that.
Very convenient, especially for groceries or just grabbing something really quick, reorganizing without having everything fall out.
Yeah.
This is I mean, there really isn't much negative to say about this.
You enjoy driving it?
I enjoy driving it. It's funny. We've had a Bronco in the past.
Oh yeah.
And I really liked driving that. It just, I don't know. There's something about it I liked, and this reminds me of that. This is like, to me, a mix of my BMW and the Bronco in
Very
my
similar
head.
to that or the Defender.
Yeah.
You haven't driven that yet, but.
So I liked driving it. It's something different. I could enjoy driving it for, you know, however long we want to own it. If, you know, we didn't have the hybrid BMW, I could also enjoy driving that. So, I mean, I can't really say I like one better than the other. I can't really say I dislike much about this. I'd be happy with either. It really depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for longevity, if you're looking for flashy, more tech savvy, if you're looking for sturdy and simple, you just got to go with what you want. I think both are great and both work.
What I like about this too is that we can lift it, put some tires on it, have some fun with it.
As long as we can fit it in the garage, honey, because...
Oh, that's what we forgot to talk about. The test in the garage.
Yeah.
So we pulled this into our garage. Oh man, I can't believe we almost forgot about it. So we pulled this into our garage, and from the shark fin antenna to the lowest point of the garage door is about 7 inches. We have a standard size garage. I think they're 8-foot doors, which is relatively standard. 7 inches gives us enough room for a 2 or 3 inch lift, 35-inch tires, and it gives us maybe 3 inches of clearance to get this into the garage. So it's a tall SUV with the boxiness of it, but for those of you
with every inch
for those of you who would maybe look to do some overlanding with this, I've seen a ton of GX models, some of the older models too, with rooftop tents, awnings, things like that. So obviously that wouldn't fit in our garage if we had that on the roof, but there's a huge community with the Lexus as well as far as overlanding. The X5 is not really. We are probably one of the few X5 owners that actually use it to tow. I don't take that off-road because it's not built for anything like that. But the Lexus community is more of kind of my style, with incorporating some of your style within the vehicle.
Best of both
So it's almost a win-win for us. But yeah, the garage was funny because that's the first thing I had to do is make sure, does it fit in the garage?
Yeah, because I can tell you, this girl is not going to be unloading groceries in the rain if she can help it.
Yeah. Well, any final thoughts? I don't know. I give it, let's grade it on a scale of 1 to 10. How cool is this vehicle in terms of just everything that we've done with it over the last 300 plus miles?
I really like it as far as SUVs that we have had.
Yeah.
I would give this one 9.5.
Okay, what's missing?
What's missing?
For a full 10.
Massage seats a little bit. I wouldn't mind a little of the flash though. I could do without, as you had mentioned, the like changing the station like this. I could do without that. But there is a little, there's something to be said about the flashy luxury of the BMW. I could have a little bit more in this, but it's not enough to deter me. Well, we can
do like the Overland or the Overtrail. We can wrap the roof, get a two-tone design, have a little bit of fun with it.
That would be fun, but more interior for me because that's what I deal with most of the time. And then
well, that's another thing. Not as many options as the X5. Yeah. We got 3 different interiors, and that's kind of it.
Yeah, and
with
then
some options
sunglass
and things like that. Yeah.
The sunglass holder. every car without that gets like a 0.5 knockoff for me, because it's just not really a place to put it. So
well, I think I'd give it a 10. The few minor things that I don't like about it, I guess the other thing is this headrest right here. We're gonna remove that to drive. I've noticed that is blocking the entire rear view mirror.
Oh,
right now.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, so I would remove that completely. For the person in the middle, you don't need it, but...
We also talked about getting captain's chairs, just for ease of moving about.
Yeah, captain's chairs would eliminate that, so that's an option to do. But I think I'd give it a solid 10. It's a very nice vehicle, and one that I could see owning for a long time and just having a lot of fun with it. But that is going to wrap it up for our 1 week in the Lexus GX550. Definitely a big contender in replacing the X5, and it's something that we need to think about. We'll look at some other options as well and go from there. Maybe we'll have a GX for the channel sometime next year, possibly next year.
And if we do, you guys will find out.
Yeah, so hope you enjoyed today's video. We made a full review on this exact vehicle as well. I've compared it with some other models too, the Sequoia, Land Cruiser, things like that. So check out all the content on the GX that we have on our channel. If you enjoyed the video, give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on our daily uploads. We'll see you all in the next video.
Bye, guys.